Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Grid. My name is RC, and today I'm joined by Mr. Corey Barker.
Hello.
What's going on,
What's going on, man?
I don't ever get a chance to do a show with you anymore.
I know. I've been on here like a couple of small segments, but I've never actually done a full show, so first time.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'm pretty excited about it. And we have Mr. Brad Moore with us. Actually, we've pulled him out from the depths. We kind of brought him out here, and we were like, Brad, we need somebody to kind of come and hang out. What's going on, man?
What's up? How's it going?
Good. This is our normal hi. What's up?
So yeah, we started doing it when we were all sick, and now it just kind of caught on, you know.
But anyway, so welcome everybody. Today we have a very, very different show in that what we're going to do is we're going to spend some time talking about Photoshop World. Talk about Photoshop World, but not just, come to Photoshop World. Obviously, we want you to come, but I wanted to show you some stuff, and I figured Corey would be great also to show you some stuff. Make it more than just this is a reason you want to come, but actually give you some information that you can use. And you can leave this and go, oh, well, that's pretty cool. Sure, I can actually do that in Photoshop, or I can actually work with this stuff. And, hopefully that'll inspire you not to come. And if you don't come, that's totally cool, but at least we're glad you're here. But before we do that, we wanted to talk about a couple of different things. Probably the first of which being a couple of
You've been on the road.
Well, yeah.
You've been gone quite a bit.
I was gone for a bit. I was actually traveling. I'm on this KelbyOne tour. So if you go to KelbyOneLive.com, right, KelbyOne.com/live, you'll see all the different tours. And I have this Photoshop for Photographers tour that I've been doing. A bunch of different people have different tours there. But I was also out in Dubai.
Yeah.
I was doing some stuff out in Dubai. I was doing some stuff for Gulf Photo Plus. So that's kind of kept me around.
What?
I was out in the...
What happened while you were there? Oh, wait. What's this, RC? What is this device that you have sitting here on the desk?
Oh, that. So this is the Fuji X-T1. So
he's been playing around with this thing since he's been back, and I just had to give him a little crap.
All right, so here's the deal. So this is what happened. I'm a big DSLR shooter, right? I like having my DSLR camera. I like having it everywhere that I go. However, I've been looking for a while for a camera that would be small, kind of in the mirrorless category, to play around with. So this started a couple of years ago. And a couple of years ago, we got together and we said, all right, what's out there? Right? And all of that stuff happened with the X100. Right. When the X100 came out. And I was really excited about the X100. I thought it was a great camera, right? Style-wise, I thought everything looked great. It had a little bit of a problem. It had actually a pretty decent-sized problem in that the focus was very unreliable, right? You would focus on something and it wouldn't work, and this, that, and the other. And I was like, you could not find a person who wanted to love this camera more than me, and yet it couldn't work. It didn't work. We didn't do any of that kind of stuff. So it was a bit of a letdown, and I was like, basically what it was the camera had contrast detect focus, and that's something that you would only see in point-and-shoot cameras. It didn't have phase detect focus, right? Just a little nerd talk. So that kind of fast-forwarded, and then they came out with the X100S and then the XE2, and all those cameras started getting phase detect focus built onto the chip. And I'm like, all right, well, this could actually be kind of neat. So I was at Gulf Photo, and they launched this camera out there.
Okay.
So Zach does a lot of work with it. Here, I'll go ahead and I'll just pull it up. Yep. So Zach Arias was out there, and he, they helped him with the launch of the camera. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat. Okay, I'll take a look at it. So they had one out there, and they were nice enough to let me borrow it. And I borrowed it for a day, and I'm looking through it, and I'm like, this is amazing. It's 16 megapixels, weather sealed. It's got a beautiful viewfinder. It's got a tilt screen. It can do, but above all, it focused. It focused.
Something a camera should do.
Yeah, it focused, it locked on, and it was great. It was really, really cool. And I sat there, and I was like, they were gracious enough to lend it to me for a day, and I was like, oh, that's great. I'll take a look at it. Because I've been wanting to have something to complement my DSLR, right? I wanted to have something else, just a second camera. And I've been looking in this size, and I thought, well, let's give it a shot. So one day turned into 2 days. 2 days turned into 3 days. And I was like, oh, I really, really like it. Like, this is going to be hard for you guys to see, but one of the things that I think is really cool about this, take a look at the top. So right here, everything is controlled, right? So it's old-timey. I'm trying to turn it.
I was just going to say, I like that vintage look it has.
Right, yeah. But I like the fact that all the controls are available to you right here. So this is ISO. This is shutter. This right here, this dial right here, I'll reverse. Aperture ring.
That actually functions.
Right? This is exposure compensation. 8 frames a second, right?
And
So
the cool thing about a camera like this is, I like how you said you want it to complement your DSLR.
Right.
A lot of times when you're shooting with a DSLR, it can be kind of big and get in the way, where this is a little smaller form factor and can let you have a better kind of working relationship with whoever you're working with.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was really, really cool. There's dumb things that I thought that were really, really neat. Like when you turn it on, you'll start shooting with it, and it has a viewfinder rack here, and it also has an EVF inside of it. And the EVF is huge, and it's great. But one of the things that I dig about it is you can hit a button here, and you can turn that off. So now the only EVF that you have is this one. Right, is inside here. So now what I'm doing is this. I'll take my screen and I'll tilt it. Right, so I took the screen.
Oh, I didn't even know it was tiltable.
Yeah.
There you go.
So anyway, so I tilt it up like this, right? And I'm setting it up like this. And what I'll do is, actually, I don't even need this, right? I could just shut it. EVF's not on.
Right.
I'm out, and I'm just holding it like this. And then just click. There you go, look. Here's the click.
Can barely hear it.
Right? So now I'm street shooting, right? And people aren't really noticing what's happening. And a lot of the times, like when you want to be able to do that, you want to be as inconspicuous as possible when you're street shooting. This is very conspicuous. So sitting here and just hip firing and working with like hyperfocal, hyperfocal focusing and things like that, hyperfocal range. So you're sitting there, you get yourself to a spot and you shoot and you shoot and you shoot. And then what happens is this. When I put my eye onto it,
the viewfinder comes on.
No, I'm looking at the shot. People think that I'm actually aiming at it, and people think that I'm aiming at something to shoot, but I'm not.
You're looking at the playback.
I'm looking at the playback. So I thought things like that were really, really neat. But anyway, so I'll finish the story up. I'll get to it. So we did all of this stuff, and then I was just like, it was really nice that they did that, and I've been wanting to get back into portraiture. I was there with Photix. I was doing some stuff with Photix. I was like, let me put together a couple of things. So I have this entire thing on my blog, and it's over at aboutrc.com. You'd have to go over to, let's say, April 3rd to see it. I tell the entire story. But inside of here, like that's one of the shots that I did with the XT1. This is a shot that I did. That's a full size. You can do that. I grabbed 2 Photix lights, a beauty dish and a strip, and I did some pictures for them, right, inside of a supply closet. I forgot to shoot raw. So inside of here, I was just like, oh, I didn't shoot raw. So what I wanted to do was actually just show you the quality. Like, not only does this thing focus, but dude, it was sharp. It was like really, really sharp. So this is one of the guys from Fuji, right? Now look at this. This is a JPEG file, out of camera. Watch. That is sharp. That is and that is a JPEG file.
Nice.
I was like,
that's zoomed in at 200%.
I mean, I showed it and then I felt horrible because I was just like, dude, look, this is awesome. Look at the level of detail. You could see the string. And he's looking at me like this. Thanks. Good job. We printed this 29 by like 32 or something like that. And it was gorgeous. Anyway, the short of it is, thanks so much, guys. The guys at Fuji, I think I really, really found a camera that's going to complement a DSLR. I could see myself shooting this camera. I think it's a great, great addition to that. Could not gush any more about it. And had a beautiful time in Dubai.
Oh, nice. Of course.
Thanks. I'm like, I've been wanting to tell people about it.
Just waiting for him to say, yes, and it was awesome out there.
Oh, God, it was so cool. It was so cool. But anyway, I'll write more about it. I'm going to write about it on the blog. But there have been a couple of people that have been asking about it, and we're talking about the XT1. So I actually thought it was kind of cool.
Very nice.
I was like, all right, well, let's talk a little bit about it. So we've got seminars done. I've gushed enough about this. I want to get back to you guys on the Photoshop world thing. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll spend some time talking. We're going to take a look at, we're going to pull double duty. So I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going to keep looking at our screens every now and again while we're bouncing around because we're taking your questions on the chat. So if you're following this online, make sure that you're going to KelbyOne.com/thegrid, and over on the right-hand side, there'll be a chat section. Join in on the chat if you want to tell us something or talk to us about it. We'd love to be able to get your questions there. We're going to talk a little bit, and we're going to show a little bit about Photoshop world. We're going to show some tutorials and get you guys inspired with a little bit of Photoshop work. So we'll do that when we come right back.
With giveaways.
With giveaways. With giveaways.
Hey, Corey, we're going to that new pizza place across the street after work. You in?
Yeah, I really wish I could, man. I'm under deadline with this book. I gotta get it done.
You're a machine, Corey. You're a machine!
Yeah, you have no idea.
From the robotic compositing mind of Corey Barker, learn step-by-step Photoshop tricks, type effects, extracting, textures, Hollywood effects, and really badass 3D. Photoshop Down and Dirty Tricks for Designers, Volume 2. Your mind will be composited away.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Grid RC here with Mr. Brad Moore, Mr. Corey Barker. And before we actually go any further, let's talk a little bit about the giveaways that you're going to get for today. So there's a bunch of different things we want to give you guys as fans and being a part of the show. The first of which is what, Corey?
Well, we have a book here. It's called Critiqued. Inside the Minds of 23 Leaders in Design. Wait a minute, I'm not in this book.
Well,
No, that's a great one.
It's like they gave 23 people the same assignment, and you see the different ways that they went about approaching it. So it's just kind of a cool look at that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing.
Oh, you just saw the promo. There we have
Photoshop Down and Dirty Tricks for Designers. We have Volume 2. Now,
You're a machine, Corey.
You're a machine, Corey. You're a machine. Now, Corey will not say this about himself, so I will tell you this hands down. Corey is probably the most brilliant Photoshop guy that there is out there. Often duplicated, never completely imitated, because they can never get the speed at which you work with this thing. And I gotta tell you, I was looking through this, and you really do open your head and dump yourself in here. You know, and I think that that's one of those things that I was really excited. I love the fact that that you put that in there. He did a beer ad. I love the Iron Man stuff that you did. But it's one of those things where I think that as designers and as photographers, we take a picture and we're just like, neat. Okay, cool. Well, what can I do?
Yeah.
What more can I do with it? And this book is it.
And I wanted to really get more in depth. The products are longer than the previous book. I mean, a lot of them were just kind of short bursts of techniques and everything like that. But this one gets way more involved. There's like, one of them has like 90 steps.
Yeah.
And it's 3D, of course. So, but there's, I just really wanted to get more involved in it and just really show people what you can really, how far you can really take it. So,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like a lot of the times people, play with Photoshop, and I got to tell you, Corey is the most brilliant man that I know in Photoshop. And I'm not just saying that because you work next door or anything like that, but he's a fountain of inspiration for all of that stuff. And if you want to take your game kind of to the next level on a design and really pushing the limits of Photoshop, this is going to be the book for you to do it with. So congratulations on the book.
Thank
It's
you.
doing phenomenally well.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the trailer. We saw the trailer for the book,
That
and we were just
promotion,
like, that is awesome.
our video guys did that. That was
So
amazing,
yeah, David Day.
Yeah.
David Day is rocking the video production of it. So we're going to be giving away those two things. We're also going to be giving away this right here, the Olo clip. Right, I'm a huge fan of the Olo clip. So this is the new 4-in-1, and that's my goatee. So the new 4-in-1, and basically it works pretty straightforward. Look, you take a phone, you slip it on there. That's wide angle. You flip it. That's fisheye. You take this off, and it is a 10x macro. You take this side off, and it's a 15x macro. So we're going to give you one of these 4-in-1 lenses. We're also going to give you this right here off of holoclip.com. I'm going to give you a telephoto lens, plus a circular polarizer, and we're going to give you guys this macro 3-in-1 lens. So you're going to get the new 4-in-1 lens. Go to holoclip.com so you can take a look at it. You get the 4-in-1 lens, you get the 3-in-1 lens, and you get the telephoto lens. I'm going to give you all three of them for watching today.
But wait, there's more.
No, that's pretty much it.
No, we got one more thing.
Oh, there is one more thing.
We have a very special giveaway today. I couldn't be more excited about this. I'm bursting out of my seat. We have the Adobe Photoshop Selection Secrets VHS tape
With Scott Kelby.
with Scott Kelby.
Wow.
Exclusive.
We're not really giving this away. I just happened to see it in the warehouse as we were gathering.
We just
giveaways.
wanted to be nostalgic and show you. Do you remember what a VHS tape looked like? Look at that. Wow. This clunky technology once was the cutting edge 20 years ago.
We should have Scott sign that and give it away to somebody.
Be kind. Please rewind.
Be kind.
Be
rewind.
kind, rewind. There
We should have Scott sign it and give it away to somebody, but I'm not
I think that's
I'm-
like the only one we have, so we're not giving it away.
Okay, we're not giving it
No,
away.
we
Sorry
gotta
about
send
that.
that to the Smithsonian.
All right, guys. So let me talk to you about this. So this is happening. We're starting on Monday. Pre-cons are starting on Monday. PhotoshopWorld.com. Take a look at this.
What do you mean pre-con?
Pre-conference workshop.
Pre-conference workshop.
So take a look. PhotoshopWorld.com. It's April 8th through the 10th at the Cobb Galleria Center in Atlanta. This is a 3-day Photoshop Love Fest. If you're into photography and you're into design and you're into Photoshop, this is the place that you want to go. So we're very proud of the conference. Right, we're really excited about it. I used to be a person before I actually started working here. I was a attendee. That's what I
Same as
would
me,
do.
yep.
Right? You were an attendee. You had come to conferences, so we would do these things, and by the grace, I get a chance to be able to work here now for it. So whenever Photoshop World comes around, I'm always really excited to talk to you guys about it. But I didn't want to just talk to you about it. I figured we would be a good idea for us to show you some of the work that we're doing. So if you're here at the Photoshop World website, right, you can take a look at the schedule of all of the different things that are happening. You can come and take a look at the instructors, right? Some of the world's best instructors are coming to this thing. So that's one of the things, like Scott's there, Matt's there, Moot's there, Joel's there, Bert's there.
That's certainly one of the biggest selling points, of course, is
Aaron Blaze. I can't wait to see Aaron Blaze.
Oh.
He's a Disney animator. He's teaching classes.
Aaron, I just go to Aaron's. I'm making a point to go to Aaron's sessions just so I can watch. You know, he's
Right, Jeremy Cowart. I mean, you have Pete Collins, you have Russell Brown, you have Zach Arias.
Peter Hurley's another guy that was an attendee before he became an instructor.
Oh my God, dude, I love Peter Hurley. I love watching Jason Group, right, of the WPPI. He's there. I mean, it's a great place for you to go. But it starts off with these pre-conference workshops. So if you go over to the workshops tab, on Monday, there's this 4-hour set of workshops, right? And there's a lot of them that are sold out or close to selling out. Moose, Photo Safari, sold out. Joe McNally, sold out. Live model shoot is almost close to selling out. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Yeah, Top Gun flight training for hobbyist photographers. You want to work with a quadcopter? That's where you go.
And that's put on by Adobe's own Russell Brown, which is awesome. Yeah.
Bunch of different things. Oh yeah, look, light painting, Dave Black, sold out. Sorry, but anyway, there's a bunch of different conferences that happen there. I think you have a conference.
I do have one. Actually, I have a hands-on. It's kind of a bring your own laptop. We're actually going to do some compositing right there in the classroom.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So to that end, I figured what we would do here is just, can you talk to us? You have a tutorial you want to set up and you want to talk a little bit about 3D. So now, anybody who's using Photoshop CC has 3D on their computers.
Absolutely, yes, I do.
So you can follow along and you can do this as well. Corey, talk to us a little bit about this.
So I have a class doing one called Hollywood Effects, which is also a chapter in the book. I just want to show you something that how you can incorporate 3D into a kind of a 2D composite. Now, one of the things I was really inspired by is this movie called The World's End. It came out last year.
That was a good one.
And it was a great movie, and I really was taken by the poster. It was a really cool design of a poster. It was this sign, and it was on fire and everything like that. And this actually is in step by step in the book on creating this entirely pretty much from scratch. But the one element in here is the globe of the Earth in the middle right here, where this fire element is. And I wanted to be able to actually put a 3D globe in there. So I found this 2D image of the entire world. It's basically just a flattened out globe right here. And it's really fun how easy it is to make it 3D and incorporate it into your design. So all I'm going to do with this image is just go to the 3D menu here in Photoshop CC and go down here to New Mesh from Layer and choose Mesh Preset and choose Sphere. And voila, you have the planet Earth. Now, if that wasn't enough, you can actually go in and get, let's open up the 3D panel here, and then also the Properties panel. We need both of them open. Now, if I go and select the sphere material here, I'm going to go in the Properties panel and go down here where it says Bump, and we're going to actually apply a bump map using the existing image. So if I go over here into the little menu, and you notice I can add a new texture or load an existing texture or use one that's already applied, which is the sphere material right here, which is that world map. And when I apply that, notice what happened to the globe there. It actually took on a little bit of depth and dimension there. So if I move this around, actually it looks like kind of a topographical map type thing.
Cool. Right.
So you're actually seeing that dimension in there. So now all I need to do is just bring this on over to my image. Simply drag and drop it like you would any other layer in Photoshop. And this is a great thing about 3D in Photoshop, is that Photoshop really much looks at it as a layer, treats it as a normal Photoshop element. So I'm just going to go in and let's drop that shadow down, and I'm just going to push this. While it appears that I'm scaling this, I'm actually pushing it back in three-dimensional space, but I'm just going to position this right here.
Right, so that top section there is kind of like if you're taking a camera and you're doing it. So like if you're the planet, it's kind of like you're taking the camera and going like this.
And actually I'm pushing it back, so I'm actually increasing the distance between me and the object itself.
Okay.
So with that in there now this is the cool thing about 3D. This is why I love it so much. And especially when I'm incorporating it in two-dimensional design like this, is that if I don't like the positioning of the planet, I don't need to go and look for another image. All I got to do is just go in here and just rotate the object around. Oh, let's actually rotate the object, not the camera.
So if you want to see North America.
If I want to see North America, just rotate this around here and bring it around.
Did you hear about the earthquake in Chile?
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't read about it, but I saw it on the...
That's just amazing. Thoughts go to anybody that's out in Chile. I heard about that. It was nuts. They had like 9 earthquakes, I think, afterwards.
It's just nutty.
Aftershock. It was crazy. But anyway, so sorry about that.
No problem. So you can see just how simple you can convert something in 3D and have the versatility of being able to move it around and do it. And this applies not just to the elements you create inside Photoshop, but you can bring in 3D models from other 3D applications and incorporate them into your 2D design work. So this is really what I'm trying to show at Photoshop World, is that no, it's not just 3D. You're not learning how to do 3D. You're bringing 3D into your Photoshop design work.
Right. I mean, you could go out and take a picture of a texture.
Sure.
And then take that texture and wrap it around something.
Right. And by creating a bump map, you can actually create texture that actually has depth, and you're not faking it or anything like that. So this is just one of the many things I'm going to be doing. Now, just to finish this off, I'm going to go ahead and it's a 3D layer, but like I said, Photoshop still sees it as a layer. I'm just going to add an outer glow here just to kind of give it a little dark edge here. Let's put this in multiply and pump that up.
Now we have a couple questions that just came in. Johan came in and asked, how could you put in back, is the globe layer still in 3D mode? Basically, you pushed it back, right? So you pushed it back with the camera, but is the globe layer still a 3D layer?
Yes. It is always going to be a 3D layer until I rasterize it. Notice this little icon on the layer right here. It's a little cube that indicates that this is an active 3D layer. So as long as that's an active 3D layer, I can do anything 3D with. I can even change the texture if I want. Notice the texture file is just under here. If I double click on that, it's going to open up that document like a smart object. So it's opening up a separate file. I could go in here, and if I wanted to, I can make it a black and white planet. Close it, save it, and it updates right on the object right there. So you're not just incorporating the 3D elements into your design.
That's cool.
But you're able to go in there and edit the original artwork without going and altering your design up to that point. You're actually having a lot more leeway with that 3D element there. So.
See, and that's exactly the face that we have all the time, because it happens. There's never a time in this office where it doesn't happen, and there's never a time that it doesn't happen inside of a class where they turn around and they go, you're watching Corey and you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah. It's like at least once a week I'll just be walking through the office and Corey will, hey, come here for a second. I'll go in, oh man, well, that's really cool. What you know, how long did it take you to do that? 15 minutes. I'm like, who are you?
Well, I gotta admit, I mean, when I finally hit on something, when I have that eureka moment, I'm as surprised as you guys sometimes, because I'll do it, I'll just be like, let me try this, and it'll be like, I'll be like, ooh, that's cool. That's the moment I'll be like, hey, RC, come check this out, you know, so come in and get them. But yeah, so this is just a small taste of the many things I'm going to be doing at Photoshop World with nice. 3D and compositing and stuff like that. And nice. Funny enough, I'm actually doing a photography class. You can believe it. Where I'm going to be talking about how you can think about shooting for compositing. So among the many things.
Now, the great thing about Photoshop World is even if you can't afford to come, can't come the whole 3 days or whatever, if you can come for a day, you can go to the expo floor for free. Yep. And there's stuff like this on the expo floor
and look,
just for free.
They're not gonna like, obviously, I don't want to say this, and I'm sure marketing is going to be like, get me his head. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you're anywhere near the Atlanta area, you can go for free to the expo, right? These are part of the classes that happen, right? There's a bunch of different classes. Like, if you look here on the website, the schedule that you have here are all of the different classes. So I'm going to click on schedule. These are all classes that are happening inside of classrooms. So a bunch of different things. Obviously, we'd love to be able to see you there, right? So there's all of the classes for the 3-day conference. And you can jump in and out of all of these classes. There's our conference. I'm going to go over here. This is these are all of the classes that are happening, right? Now, you see here, Expo Help Desk hours. So from 1 to 4, the Expo hall is open. Now, inside of here, not only do you have vendors doing stuff and all these different vendors doing demos on stuff, you also have classes that are happening. You have 2 stages that have classes going on there. I'm not trying to tell you that what you can do is drive over to the city of Atlanta, go to the free events, and have 3 days of actually, that is what I'm telling you. You can go there. You can go to the expo for free and have some amazing, amazing training. I actually have an expo story that I wanted to talk about before we go to a break. But one of the first times that I went to one of the Photoshop Worlds, I hung out. The only thing that I did, and I'm sorry, Scott, but the only thing that I did was hang out at the expo. I bought a full conference pass, but I hung out at the expo because I was trying to kind of get myself into photography a little bit more. I'd always done the computer work. I'd always done a lot of the post-processing work, but I kind of really wanted to take my photography skills, and it was Eddie Tapp. Eddie Tapp out of Atlanta. I was watching a demo that he was doing on Canon, and there weren't that many people there, and I was just like, you know, I just don't quite understand this one thing. And he was like, come here, come on. Come up, in the middle of a demo. Yeah. He's like, you don't get it? Come here. And he literally pulled me up, and he was just like, do you see this thing that we're doing here with light? I still remember she had a red shirt, she had a hat, and he was lighting her, and he's like, you see this light right here? You see how if we fix this and we move this over here? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't understand it. And I had one-on-one time for the better part of an hour with Eddie Tapp. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, I don't have a question. I have a question about this, and I have a question about that. And the couple of days that I spent on the expo hanging out with Eddie Tapp changed everything that I did in photography, and I would have done that without spending a dime. And I think that that's one of those things. It's more than a conference. It's more than us hanging out. It's more than, obviously, us teaching you. The interaction that you have with the people that are there in the industry, it's invaluable. So if you're anywhere within that area, I'm the first person to be able to tell anybody, look, I will do whatever it is that I can to convince you guys to come, because it is that important of an event.
It's always, for me, it's always been the approachability of all the instructors. There's no real egos there. There's a few, but it's
well, there's a few.
There's a few, but no, it's how approachable everybody is, and just how willing they are to share their secrets. You think oh, they're not, that's amazing what they do. They're not going to tell me how they do that. Yeah, they will. We will, absolutely. So it's
Joe Presser, anybody else picking up an alarm beeping sound on occasion? Yeah, I don't know what it is, man, but they're trying to break into a car, something fierce outside. We can't do anything about it because we're stuck here. So I'm hoping that whatever car is getting broken into, it's done by now. So
we're gonna check on that in the break. So,
but it is one of those things, and I get really into it, and I think that what happens during the promos, everybody's just like, just let RC talk because that's what we're gonna do. But I really dig it, man. It's such a cool show. It's
even as many as we've done at this point as instructors, it still is the same level of energy every time. We're not at the point where we're going, oh man, again.
I get excited.
It's more like, again, I can't wait.
I get excited. If you see me, I'm running around like a crazy person, like 5 Red Bulls in. I love it. I absolutely love it. But anyway, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of KelbyOne classes, and I want to get into talking about Photoshop and video. It's something that I'm absolutely excited about, and I want to make sure that I can share with you guys a couple of tricks inside of it. We'll be right back.
Cool.
Welcome back, everybody. RC here with Corey Barker and the incomparable Mr. Brad Moore. Brad, talk to us a little. This is one of those things that a lot of people don't talk about. I'm going to find a file here inside of Photoshop to talk about video. But before we do, talk to us a little bit about what it looks like for you, because you have a different job when you're there. And I think it offers a good amount of access.
Yeah, so when we were preparing for the show, they were like, "Oh, we can show what we do at Photoshop World. We can get some tutorials about stuff we're doing." I'm like, "Well, what am I going to bring to the show? Do you want me to just sit here with a camera and take pictures of you guys every once in a while, or what?" Because 9 times out of 10, I'm the conference photographer, and I definitely have help a lot of the time, but
you're just there to capture the event.
I'm there to capture the event. So a lot of the times I'm there. I'll have other people shooting as well, just kind of for pictures for the website, for marketing purposes, for future events, and especially for Scott's blog, because during the event, Scott is so crazy busy that he hardly has time to do anything on his website. So he kind of leans on me to help with that and take pictures and post galleries each day to kind of show people what's going on that aren't there, and they can see some of the great classes that are happening, some of the live shoots, some of the events we have like Midnight Madness and the After Hours Party, and just kind of give people a glimpse into what that looks like if they've never been.
Now, but see, and here's the one thing, and I will take this away from you, because one of the, while you say that what you're doing is you're working on the conference and you're just taking pictures, and then that's invaluable. It is invaluable. One of the things that I like about your pictures when you do that is you see the community.
Yeah.
You see the people getting together. And you can see it in your pictures. And
he's out there in the trenches.
Yeah, you're catching the feeling and the vibe behind it. There's a lot of smiling faces. There's a lot of people kind of getting together. A lot of people partying. Some great pictures have come from that kind of stuff. So I was just like, you have some insight. You've gone to pre-cons.
Yeah.
Right?
Workshops.
You've gone to the workshops.
So we have we have our office lingo, or whatever we call the workshops that happen before the conference. Pre-cons, because they're pre-conference workshops. But nobody else outside of us knows what a pre-con is. So I keep saying workshop.
Pre-con workshop. Pre-con workshop. But you go to the workshops.
Yeah.
Anything interesting on one of the workshops?
Oh, man.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What's one of your favorite workshops?
Well, see, it kind of saddens me sometimes, because there are at least 3 workshops that happen off-site most of the time, so I don't even get to go to those.
Okay.
And a lot of times those are the cool ones, like the Photo Safari, or Joe's lighting workshop, or David Zeisser's wedding workshop, or
Dave
whatever,
Black's light painting.
or Dave Black's light painting. Actually, I think that one's on site a lot of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, but there are definitely some cool stuff that happen. Of course. I don't think it's happening this time, but there's usually a concert pre-conference workshop, concert photography. So, of course, that's kind of what I'm into. So I enjoy peeking in on that and seeing what Alan Hess and Scott Jusa are doing. So let's look through the list here at some of the pre-conference workshops.
There's a bunch of different things. I was trying to see if somebody was going to Old Car City, but I'm like,
there's Old Car City.
I want to go to Old Car City.
This is the first time we're doing this in Atlanta, so we're kind of discovering all these things that are available to us in that area, because a lot of times we go to the same cities. We're in Orlando all the time, so we kind of know what's around there. But this time it's our first time in Atlanta, so
I'm excited.
I'm
so excited when we do a new city. It's great.
Yeah.
When we did DC a couple years ago, it was awesome. It was new and it was a great time. All
right. So let me. So I'm going to talk to you video, right? So I have this entire video pre-con that I'm doing, and it's basically talking about Photoshop and video. And a lot of the times people don't know that you can do Photoshop and video, and it actually is pretty cool. So I want to show you some basics on that, and then show you something that you can do immediately as a photographer for the creation of slideshows inside a video. Because I think what happens is we want to be able to take our pictures, and it's a very common thing. You want to take your pictures and you want to be able to share them with some sort of music. But what happens with most of that is if you try to do it inside of Lightroom, you don't really have a great control over how to be able to paste that, right? So if you're showing a slideshow of pictures, you don't want to just go 1, 2. I hate showing I hate putting a gallery up on a website.
And in the same.
I don't like putting galleries up on websites, and I tell people all the time, don't put galleries up on websites with thumbnails, because I think what happens is you lose the control of what it is that you want to do. A lot of the times, this is just advice, right? Some education here. If you're going to share a series of pictures, I like making a movie of those pictures, because what happens is if you put up a grid, then everybody can control how they see the pictures. It's like next, go to this one, go to this one, go to this one, and you're like, but I wanted you to see this one first. I wanted you to see this one.
Specific sequence, yeah.
I want a sequence. I want to control the mood. I want to control the feeling, and the best way for you to control that is to just make a video of it. Don't go and put 700 pictures together inside of, you know, a video package and expect somebody to sit through it. But if you did that for a minute and you just showed a minute's worth of pictures, that would be really cool. But you want to time it with music, and you want to be like right there, right there, right there, and at that part of the music, change. And you can't do that in Lightroom. That's one of the biggest problems. So let's talk a little bit about what you can do from a video side, and then let's talk about how to be able to use that for your pictures. So inside of here, I'm just gonna grab some sample footage, and this is some stuff that we have on our tour. I don't wanna just showcase just yet what I'm doing in the pre-con. But here I have some stills and video, right? And from here, I'm gonna grab this one video clip, and immediately I can just drag it onto here. Now, once that's put inside of there, really what you're working with is this one section down here called the timeline panel, right? Right off the bat, you just hit play, and it plays.
It even plays the audio as well.
It plays the audio as well. So I can click right here and go to add media, and then from here, I'm gonna go to this one section, I'm gonna grab stills and video, I'm gonna grab the second one, you'll see that it puts the second one right here in the list. It's also doing it in reverse order here, right? So there's the newest one on top. You wanna reorganize them? Chick. You want to reorganize this one? Chick. Just drag it and move it around. So you can change which one comes first and which one comes second. What do I like about this? Right off the bat, if you're playing this one video and there's a lot of extra footage here on the left that you don't want, you could always just click, drag it to the section that you don't want it, and then as soon as you let it go, it snaps it back to the very beginning and gets rid of all of that stuff. So all of your editing, done. There you go. I just wanted that one section. As soon as that section is done right there, I go grab it here. I'm gonna grab this, move it over to that one section, done. I'm gonna zoom in here. Now, this kind of sucks because once you do this one thing, right, it gets to that one spot, and then what it'll do is it'll just click and go to the next one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna move this playhead over here to get it to that one spot, trim that at the edge. But now the cuts are very abrupt, right? So it goes from one cut to another cut. I kind of actually wanna bring this over here and get it to the blurry part, right? So it goes from there to a blurry part. Now, let me just tell you right off the bat, I use a Mac, right? They're cute, they're wonderful, they're great. One of the things that, right? Little Mac. But, it just sounds horrible, but I'm like, whenever I need to be able to do something that I know is going to do a lot of processing power, I switch to my PC. So that's one of the reasons that it's there. I saw a couple people were asking about the Razer, and I'm like, that's kind of why this is here, because this machine smokes. Anyway, so that's where we are. So there's my video, right? And it's running that, and it gets to that one section, and I'm like, well, I kind of want to transition. Click right here. You see that there's fade, crossfade, fade with black, fade with white, fade with color. I'm just going to crossfade that, drag that right there. Once that's done, take a look. Come back over here to the beginning, into this one part. Now it crossfades. Oh, nice. You want to fade with black? Grab your fade with black. You could drag it to the very beginning. So now the video fades with black. Oh, you want that to be longer? Click right here, drag it over to the right. You want it to fade out with black? Grab it right here, drag it over. Well, you can't do that. You'd have to grab this guy here, this effect, delete it. You want that to fade with black there, you could grab it, drag it to the end, fade in with black, or fade in and out. Right there.
They did a really good job making it visual.
Yeah, you just grab it and then you're done. That's it. 1, 2, 3. And in no time flat, there's your fade out. That moves, it crossfades, and then once it gets all the way over to the end, fades out. But it's even better still, because inside of here, you can go ahead and add audio tracks. So if you wanted to add audio track, you could add it right from inside of there. If you took a look at this footage and you said, I want this footage to be brighter, you could just highlight the footage and add a curves adjustment layer, add any other adjustment layer that you would use to change it. So now look, this curves adjustment layer is adjusting just this one section. I'll show you, I'll make it darker just so that you can kind of see it. I wouldn't do that, but there's that one section. It's tied to that one individual layer. If I want all of these jobbies to be black and white, I can come over here. I can turn this into black and white. See how it's tied to this one individual layer? If I rise it up, now it's tied to the entire layer. Bring this back over here. No time flat. Now you have a black and white movie. At any point in time, you can cut the audio to this, to these sets of clips, and now you come over here, all you have to do is add an audio track to it. So it's crazy stuff that you can do inside of it from a video editing standpoint, but if you're just doing still pictures, it gets even easier. Watch this. I'm gonna close this out. I'm gonna come over here, go to a new file. Now I'm just gonna use a film and video preset, 1920 by 1080, so that's HDTV. And inside of here, what you wanna do is you wanna organize how to be able to set up those pictures, right? Because it's a pain in the butt to have all of those files sized exactly the way that you want it. Here's the problem, right? If you go over here and you go to File and you go to Place, which is what I would recommend everybody to do, you're gonna run into a snag because it only lets you place one at a time. That sucks, right? You can't place more than one. But if you come over here to the desktop, and on the desktop you go to your samples folder and you grab a series of pictures and you shift click them, you can then grab them, drag them into Photoshop, and you can automatically place them and size them as you see fit. So now I can go, well, I want it to take up this much space on this. As soon as you're done with that one, it'll go through, it'll place the next one. You can then control the size of how much you want that one to show up. Then you'll come over here, make whatever tonal corrections you want, and then as soon as that happens, it'll go ahead and it'll place the next one. Now, I'm not gonna do this over and over and over for all of the other ones. These are just a bunch of high-res pictures. This would be a good time to
set up an action.
Right? but you might wanna control how much of that space you run into that. Like maybe you might want it smaller. But here, I'm gonna turn around and I'm going to just cancel that. There's 3 files, right? Now watch this. I click on Create Video Timeline. Those are 3 images. I shift click all 3 of those images. Then right from here, once I have those 3 images, what I want to do is I want to be able to right click on these, and I'm going to turn these things into a timeline from this. So right inside of this one section, again, I'm going to grab this right here. Once that's done, come on, buddy, let me in there.
Hey, RC, while you're doing that,
yes.
Somebody asked, what's the longest video you've ever made in Photoshop?
The longest video that I've made in Photoshop has been probably along the lines of, I'm gonna say
3.5 hours?
No, not 3.5 hours. It's been probably 5-6 minutes.
Okay.
I'd probably say. So here we go. This one section right here. Once you have this, new video group from clips. Click on the drop down. Now, if you zoom out, they play one after the other after the other. All you need to do now is just grab this. We'll go ahead, let me just go ahead and come back over here real quick. I could fill this now with black. All right, fill my background. I'm gonna grab this, I'm gonna move this over to black here. And all I have to do is adjust how long I want these things to go. If I want this one to go longer, I just drag it over. If I want this one to go shorter, I could just drag this one shorter over this way. So 5 minutes is probably what I've done. Probably what I would wanna do is I'd wanna just have smaller segments, work with most of those, and then export them out.
Okay.
You know, one by one. But now, in this case, if you had like 40 of these, you could just do slideshows right off of this. It's beginning to bug me to see all the guides, so I'm gonna turn those off. But now, place an audio track and you're good to go. So these are the kinds of things that we're gonna be doing from there, I think. You know.
I was just gonna comment on as far as length, and somebody actually made mention of this, is that it's the render time. Photoshop's rendering. If you've got a 5-minute video and you're rendering out of Photoshop, you're going to be waiting a while. So it's not like After Effects or Premiere, where it renders rather fast. So I often tell people, keep your clips short coming out of Photoshop. Don't make them too long. And like you say, build them in segments.
Yeah, it's gotten better from a render standpoint.
Absolutely,
because it uses it's using the Adobe Media Encoder, right? Mercury based and all that kind of stuff. So, and those render times will vary based on the type of computer that you have. But it's one of those things where it's like I try to keep a lot of that stuff short.
And file size is key too. Don't render out a video of a high-res file. Obviously, that's overkill, and you're going to be waiting a while. So just keep your file size at a manageable.
Yeah, I mean, can you produce a movie with all of this kind of stuff? Yes, of course you can. However, this is for those people who need to produce short, quick and dirty, You're not wanting to do any kind of great leaps. You're just wanting to dip your toe into the video side of it. If you want to be able to do more, then obviously they have an entire program that does that, Premiere.
And just to tell us in, I'm also at Photoshop World. I have a class on doing motion graphics in Photoshop, and taking it further than that, you can actually animate text and even 3D.
Okay.
Objects can be animated in Photoshop, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in the class I'm doing. So.
If you're going to be at Photoshop World or interested in coming, wondering what I was there, you saw the schedule page that RC showed earlier. If you noticed, there's tracks that focus on a specific thing for each day throughout the conference. So I don't know. I haven't paid too much attention. Is there like a video track or?
They do have different types of tracks. I do believe that they do have a video track.
Schedule.
Right. So we can go to the schedule section over here, and inside of here, I know that there's a bunch of different video stuff that's happening. So we'd have to take a look at, go to the Photoshop World website. You'll see here. Let's go to day 2. Inside of day 2, we'll scroll down to this one section here.
Yeah, so you have like
beginners. Beginners, Creative Cloud, graphics, lighting, Lightroom, photography, Photoshop photographers, Photoshop skills. I believe that the video stuff is wrapped into the Creative Cloud section that we have there. So a lot of that stuff, there's tons of different things. Tons of different things that you can see from there. But let's do this. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Corey, you've got one more thing for us?
I do have one more quick tip I want to show.
Okay, so we'll show that, and we'll talk a little bit about some KelbyOne stuff and a giveaway when we get back.
Great.
Get the world's best photography, lighting, and Photoshop training at Photoshop World. Here's the top 10 reasons you should attend. It's 3 non-stop days of real-world training where you can get personal attention and unlimited access to the world's top instructors in Photoshop and photography. When you attend, you'll have chances to experience hands-on live shoots and workshops, outrageous after-hours parties and events, and hundreds of classes for all skill levels, along with dozens of opportunities to network with other attendees. In-depth, one-on-one portfolio reviews from industry professionals, and see new cutting-edge technology. Plus, you can even earn continuing education and graduate-level credits from attending. This is the must-attend conference for photographers and Photoshop users. Use the promo code to get an extra $50 off. Photoshop World, the world's best Photoshop and photography conference.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Photoshop World pre-show here on the grid. RC here with Corey Barker and Mr. Brad Moore.
Howdy.
What's going on? What's going on, guys?
Yo.
So,
Word.
but anyway, so we've been talking about Photoshop World. I just did a video tutorial on a couple of different things. People were talking about, well, Premiere's not that hard to learn, or you can go ahead. Let me see. Let's see, a couple questions that somebody said, I prefer Final Cut X over Premiere. Yes. Well, there's still a couple people there.
Depends on your level of
use, and again, and that's the thing. A lot of the people are like, well, honestly, it's not that hard to learn Premiere. Saracher, it's not that hard for you. This is everybody's, I always talk about this. This is everybody's Premiere experience if you haven't done Premiere. So let's go over here, right? So people will just go, we'll switch over.
While you're doing that, now if you aren't able to make it to Photoshop World and you're able to sit at home in front of your computer, KelbyOne has some great classes.
Wow.
Nice plug, Brad.
Good job. Look at the big brain on Brad. That's a good one.
But you're right. You're absolutely right, though. It's
a bunch of stuff on there. Let me show you this. But look, this is everybody's thing, right? If you don't know Premiere, this is what happens. Premiere, okay, already. What do I want to do? I'm going to make a new project.
The welcome screen of terror for some people.
Yeah. Okay. How about I just click OK, right? OK's never hurt anybody. OK. Oh, crap. Project already exists. OK. All right. I don't know about you, but if you get to a screen like this and you've never done this before, this is your experience right here. Whoop. And we're done.
And it's always accompanied by,
get out, get out. And that's what happens. Now, we have a KelbyOne class. I will tell you this. If you come over to the KelbyOne site, right, I'm going to pull this up right now because I thought it was great. Brandon Ford, right, one of our video editors, did a great class for Video production for Premiere. So go to the KelbyOne site, take a look at Brandon's class. He will take you for that. I use Premiere. Corey uses Premiere. You've played around, I think, with a little bit of Premiere? No? No? Okay.
We have a whole video department here. Why do I need?
Okay. I would just think you would want to continue education, but I guess you're done. Okay, it's fine.
I know everything.
I personally haven't played with Premiere, but I love After Effects. I've been getting into that a lot more lately.
I like Premiere.
Really
I'm a big video. I'm a big video guy. I like Premiere. But what happens with this? Oh, there it is. Premiere CC Beyond the Basics.
There you have it. Yep.
So Brandon goes through these classes and he talks a bunch of different things. You know, the one thing that I thought was really, really neat. And a lot of people haven't dealt with a lot of the stuff with ingesting, right? So we have an entire class that just deals with it. There's the Premiere CC Basics class. So a bunch of different things. Go to the KelbyOne class. I think it's really, really neat. Now, is Photoshop supposed to be doing it for you, all of it for you? No, quick and dirty. The moment that you want a little bit more, go to Premiere.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But Corey,
yes,
you have a bunch of stuff that looks like dirt on your screen.
Yes, I have this clump of
what
chaotic
is this?
Mess. One of my most favorite aspects of Photoshop is, of course, being able to create custom brushes. Use them all the time in my designs and even 3D stuff. So there's a great deal of preset brushes that are actually built into the program. You can actually go in, when you select your brush tool here, go into the menu, and go into this little flap menu, all these different categories of brushes. These all come with Photoshop. So if you have Photoshop, you have these brushes. But you also have the ability to create and define your own brushes. Now this is just merely particle elements, just dirt on a white background. There's nothing spectacular about this image. But what I want to do is make a brush out of it so I can have kind of a particle brush. But I need to alter it a little bit before I do that. First thing is I'm going to take any color information there is out of it. So I'm just going to press Shift-Command-U, and then I'm going to do a levels adjustment and just kind of build the contrast up here a little bit. Because the more dense an object is, the more opaque the brush is going to be. So if you have a little bit of gray, you're going to have some transparency. White will be completely ignored altogether. So I don't have to worry about the background. So let's go ahead and click OK there. Now, some of the elements here fall off on the edges, some of those gray areas. So if I define a brush now, you're going to see those little elements cut off. It almost looks like a square brush. I don't want to do that. So I'm actually going to go and get my eraser. Rare occasions I use the eraser tool. And I'm just going to go around and erase particles that are on the edge or very, very close to the edge. And let's get these areas here, because I just want to concentrate on the particle elements here in the middle. And I'm just going to boost that contrast a little bit more to get rid of there. There we go. Now, another thing to think about when you're making a brush from a stock, this is a stock image actually from Fotolia. And when you download stock images, they're usually ridiculously high res. Now this one is not that bad. It's 2000 by 1450. So I'm actually going to drop it down a little bit more, like 1500. And enjoying? You need some popcorn? So now what I'm ready to define the brush. I do not need to make a selection or anything like that. All I'm going to do is simply go to the Edit menu, go down here and choose Define Brush Preset, and we'll call it Particle, if I can learn how to spell. Now, notice my brush now takes on the shape of what I just defined. Now I'm just going to go ahead and create a new document so we can just see how this brush is going to work. And there we go. So now I'm going to size the brush down a little bit. I'm just using my bracket keys, size it down. And if I paint with my brush, not the eraser, but the brush, there, that's what I get. Be aware of what tool you're using. So if I just go over here and just paint like that, it doesn't look all that flattering because it's the same angle, it's the same element, just you're creating a streak. It's not what I want. So we need to change the behavior of the brush. So I'm going to go into my brush options and go in here and first boost the spacing a little bit between the brush elements. Now notice every change you make in the brush options is reflected here in this little preview panel on the bottom. So I'm going to activate Shape Dynamics, and here's where you just determine how behavior of the brush changes as you paint. So I want it to change the size as I paint it, and the angle. And I'm just going to leave that off there. And I'm going to go ahead and down here. Now you've got a whole bunch of different options here when it comes to brushes. You can do scattering. You notice you can do that. I'm not going to do that this time, though. You can add a texture to it. You can actually have a dual brush, so you can have two brushes interacting with each other as you're painting. That's kind of cool. But I'm going to activate transfer down here, and I'm going to set the opacity jitter to pen pressure because I am, in fact, using a pressure-sensitive tablet. And Photoshop caters to these features in these brushes. When you go to control menu, you can see it says pen pressure or pen tilt. So it will respond to the positioning of my pen. So now let's take it over here to start painting and see what we get. So now you can see I've got a rather cool particle element happening here. And I can use this as background elements, or just wanted to add a little bit of a particle effect to a poster design or something like that, but I have a great degree of control over that. And once I have all those elements in place, I can go, and I've got 3 different options going on here: the smoothing, the transfer, shape dynamics. If I want to keep that, and I know I want to be able to use this brush in the future, then simply go up to the options bar. The very first icon here, these are where you locate your tool presets. So I just go over here and choose new tool preset and give it a name. Now, unlike when I saved the brush a while ago, when I created the brush, all it did was just save the brush tip, the actual graphic that's the tip. This will save not only the brush, but also all those properties I've applied to it. So anytime I want it, even when I go and select a different brush, if I want that same exact brush, just select particle again, and it will remember all those settings applied. So this is what I do when I have textures or particle elements like that. And I always try and create a library of different types of brushes that I can use for any different scenario I have. So I'm actually going to be talking about custom brushes a lot more in my Down and Dirty class at Photoshop World.
Nice, 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 nice. And that's one of those things where it's like a little bit of investment that you do in building all of this stuff will go a very, very long way when you're working with these kinds of designs. I'm sitting here and I'm like, that is pretty cool.
And that's really the brush effect. I mean, once I go into a design, I start adding like layer style effects, color effects like that. You can just have so much fun with it.
That's like how you did the fire brush.
Exactly. Yeah, the fire brush that I came up with actually was kind of an accident. It just kind of started out as one thing and it turned into something else. It looked so realistically like fire. I was just like, okay. So I may show that at Photoshop World as well.
Nice, nice. I like the fire brush. I think the fire brush is great. All right. So there's a couple of different things, and Brad, thank you very much for reminding me for this. But we do have the Kelby training classes.
Yeah, if you wanted to learn more stuff like what he was just doing, I assume, Corey, that you have some classes on this KelbyOne website.
You would assume correctly.
Right, so go to KelbyOne.com. There's a couple of classes that are immediately on top of Corey's classes and on top of all of the other classes that we have. There is a couple of other ones that are new here. So we have, like, Dave Black has got a new class. We've got Photographing the Moon and Stars with Jennifer Wu, right? Really nice night work, right? We have the business side of Frank Salas, right? So Frank Salas sat down and talked with our own Mia McCormick, right, doing an interview on this. I can't wait to see Mia's interview with Greg Heisler. I gotta tell you, Frank Salas. I love Frank Salas. I think he's great, but I'm biting my nails for the Heisler one.
Yeah, she's been knocking him out with his interview series. It's really going great. Yeah.
She's got a gift. She's got a gift, man. So here, and then we have Nicole Young, Nicole. So food photography. She does a great job at doing food. She cooks her own food. She works all of that kind of stuff. I think it's a great class. If you want to take a look at food photography, that's the place for you to go.
She uses very simple setups too. It's not difficult to achieve stuff.
That's what I like about it.
And her results make it seem as though they're really complex setups, but they're really not. There's really, I mean, she does it in her kitchen. Sometimes, you know, so
most of the time,
yeah, exactly. So
I was like, why wouldn't you want to see a class like that? I cook. I have a kitchen.
Yeah,
most
people do. Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. Anyway, last thing we want to talk to you about, PeachPit ebook deal. Right. So what you're going to do is you're going to get 40% off. Kelby viewers are going to get 40% off by going to peachpit.com/KelbyOne, and you're going to get Scott Valentine's book, The Hidden Power of Adjustment Layers. You actually did some stuff.
I contribute. He actually asked me if I would contribute a little bit how adjustment layers can be utilized with 3D. Did a little segment on that, and it came out really well.
So, all right. Scott Valentine is a friend of the show. We love you, Scott. Congratulations on the book. You can get 40% off of this ebook deal. All you have to do is go to peachpit.com/KelbyOne and enter in the code KelbyOne. And that's it. That's all. That's all you have to do. But anyway, guys. Giveaways. How do we do the giveaways?
You go to KelbyOne.com/contest. Scroll down, choose your show for the grid. Enter in all your info there. If you want to leave feedback, you're welcome to do that. But make sure you let us know which prize you want. Again, the giveaways this week are critiqued here by 23 Leaders of Design. And then we've got Corey Barker's Down and Dirty Tricks, Volume 2. And what else was it? The Olo clip.
We're giving away
this guy right here.
No, 3 of them.
3.
We're giving away 3 of them to one person. They're gonna get the whole kit. Take a look. Go to olaclip.com. Inside of here, 4-in-1 lens. You're gonna get the 4-in-1 lens. So that's the lens that I have here. You're gonna get the macro 3-in-1 lens, and you're going to get the telephoto lens, thanks to the folks over at Olaclip. Now, before we go, guys, I want to tell you one last thing about Photoshop World. I don't want you to forget. If you are going, this isn't for you who aren't going. For those of you who are going, the best way for you to stay in touch with everything that happens at Photoshop World is to download the app.
Oh, yes.
Have to get the app. Please go and get the app now. Right, get it now. Get it as soon as you can, because the app is going to be your lifeline to any kinds of changes, any kind of special announcements, any kind of special things that we want to give. That's the place for you to be able to go. So make sure that you go to the App Store, look for the Photoshop World app. That is the place for what we want to do. So make sure you get that.
Real quick, two things. I was just reminded, because next week is Photoshop World, we're not doing the grid.
Okay,
so,
grid's off.
So no grid next week. But also,
we're off the grid. Sorry, I just had to throw that in. Sorry.
Anyway, with the app, I love it because while I'm going through the conference, there are certain things that I've got to shoot, and it lets you create your own schedule. You can go through and look at the tracks and go, I want to go to this class for this hour, this class for this hour, and this class for this hour, and it'll give you alerts. Hey, this class is starting in however many minutes. Hey, keynote starting in however many minutes. And we're also using it to push specials. So on the expo floor, which is free, you have a bookstore, and in the bookstore there's people speaking and talking. Well, throughout the conference, we'll be running specials that only last like an hour or something like that. With the app, that will alert you, hey, for the next hour, come by the bookstore and get such and such for such and such off, or whatever. So definitely make sure you get the app. It is the lifeline of all lifelines for the.
So I'm just looking real quick. Where do we enter again? Matt, this is his first time watching the show.
Oh, cool. Welcome,
great.
Matt.
Welcome, Matt.
Matt's never seen the show before? No.
Well, he's never seen the show.
Not our Matt. It's
Not our Matt.
Oh,
Different
that
Matt.
okay.
Different Matt. Nice headshot, Matt.
KelbyOne.com/contest.
KelbyOne.com/contest. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. You've gotten a chance to watch it live. I think it's pretty neat.
Hey, it's his first show is mine.
Wow.
It's my first full
It's Matt
show
and Corey's
too.
first show.
Wow, you guys have a thing.
We're connected, Matt.
Matt, come to
Forever and
Photoshop World.
always.
He'll buy you a cup of coffee.
We're right here.
But anyway, so now you have all of that information. Guys, thanks so much. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for taking a look a little bit about this Photoshop World pre-show. Hopefully you guys have found some information here that you can take and do something with, and hopefully you've gotten you inspired to take a look at the Photoshop World Conference. Again, last time, if you want to be able to take a look at this, it's at photoshopworld.com, and it is April 8th through the 10th at the Cobb Galleria Center in Atlanta, Georgia. So hopefully we will see you guys there. Thanks so much for stopping by. Corey, if people want to find out more about you, where do they go? Where would you want to send them to?
You can go to a couple places. Of course, my website, CoreySBarker.com.
Corey
and then
S. Barker.
CoreySBarker.com.
Or Corey's Barker.
CoreySBarker.com. And I'm heavily involved on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/CoreyPS3D.
Okay, I'm going to pull that up right now. Hold up. Facebook.com.
Do you know how to type?
Yeah, Corey.
It's because it's a PC.
No, it's because I'm trying to reach over my Wacom tablet. What was it?
Corey PS3D.
PS3D. All right.
A true friend would have already known that.
Facebook.com. A true friend. You shut your mouth, Brad Moore. So if you want to take a look at Corey's stuff, so that's Facebook. So that's where you would send them more than anywhere else? You would send them over to the Facebook?
Yeah, my Facebook or my website. That's where I'm probably most active. I have, of course, at Twitter. I have Twitter. My Twitter is at CoreyPS3D as well. So,
but you can get into all of the stuff off the Facebook.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Brad Moore, where
Yes.
can people come and find you?
BeMoreVisuals.com. My name is Brad Moore, Moore. So BeMoreVisuals.com. That's my website. And you can also.
And he
find
doesn't
me-
suck as a photographer. So
That is a fantastic. I haven't been to your site in a year. No,
I've still got some work to do.
I haven't seen
but
anything
yeah.
to change it, but that's fantastic. That's a great
Thanks.
shot.
Thank you. And then I'm also Be More Visuals on Instagram and Twitter. And
perfect. And you
I
can
have
get
a
to all of the stuff
Facebook, but I
here.
don't really use it. Probably, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, those little things at the bottom there. I think those work.
Perfect. All right. So if you guys want to find out more about me, the best place for you to go to is aboutrc.com. All of the social pages are right here in this one section. So this is my own personal blog, but if you want to get to anything else from 500px to Pinterest, to all of the stuff is over here on the right hand, on the lower right hand side. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for helping me host the show.
Absolutely.
Fly the flag.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks here on the grid. Take care, everybody.
You're welcome. You thanked him, but not me. Yeah, you're welcome.